I'm going to talk on the 17th chapter of the Povanam. By Baba's grace, we have reached the second last chapter of the book, the Povanam. After this book, I will be starting with Ramakatha Rasvahini. If anybody would want to follow it or have any suggestions, kindly put in the comment section below. Let's begin. Service is the most difficult of the 9 steps to inner reality. It is basically action arising out of the yearning to win the grace of the Almighty. It is the most important step to erase the ego. Through service alone can man attain mastery of senses, the passion and prediculations, and through that reach divinity. I have come to teach you the proper attitude of service, for love expresses as service, and God is love. Service to man leads to the discovery of a man as God. Swami addressed a huge gathering of his devotees who were anxiously planning to celebrate Bhagwan's 60th birthday on a very grand note. He said, spirituality has no meaning to a person suffering from hunger. To the hunger stricken, bring God in the form of food. To the distressed, in the form of peace. To the sick, as medicine. And to the afflicted, a remedy for the affliction. Only thus can spirituality enter one's heart. Anything thus otherwise done produces agnostics and atheists instead of believers. Before you celebrate my 60th birthday, adopt at least 6,000 villages and transform them into ideal villages. The spiritual benefit derived from japa, tapas, yajna, and yaga will occur from divine love alone, and all the means to attain divine love, seva, or service to mankind, is unrivaled. You must grasp the efficiency of my prema, tattva, that is love. Whatever Sai does or thinks or says or sees, it is entirely for your sake and not for Sai's sake. I have no happiness of my own. Your happiness is my happiness. I have no desires whatsoever. You may think Sai is doing this or doing that. Nothing is for me. Everything is for you. Believe it or not, not a paisa I spend for me. Whatever is being done is for the society. For 56 years now, not even a single paisa has been spent for getting a single shirt made for me. I wear only those clothes that loving devotees offer to me. The shirt I am wearing at this moment has been given by a student, Radha Krishna. The thought that I want something for myself never occurred to me, nor does it occur now. Such a thought will never come to my mind in future as well. Whatever I will, it is for the welfare of the world. Understand this clearly. Develop enthusiasm in the various programs, activities, and actively participate in social service. It is important that you carry out Swami's ideals and activities more particularly in villages than in town. Minimize your own expenses and utilize maximum amounts on providing facilities needed by villagers. If facilities are adequately provided in every village, Bharatiya Tattva, Indian ethos, and Bharatiya Sanskriti, Indian culture, will effectively reach out to one and all. O embodiment of divine love, Divya Atma Swarupalara, you may not be able to see, but I see everything as seen moving before my eyes. The very same persons who are today unable to understand Swami's Tattva are destined to experience it in tears sometimes in future. Sai Tattva or Sai philosophy is very shortly going to spread throughout the world. Swami is himself holding it back. But once it is let loose, it permeates the whole world like an irresistible force. The world will be transformed into Prashanti Nilayam. Realize the essentiality of Swami and come forward to implement Swami's ideals. You will get no such opportunities later. You will find it possible to get close to Swami. Millions and millions of people will rush here. Those days are coming very soon. So, from this day onwards, try to earn Swami's love and compassion and fulfill your lives by taking up suitable activities in the service of mankind. Take one step towards me, I will take 100 towards you. This was a time when there were severe problems in Bosnia, and thousands of devotees were sheltered in built up camps who were waiting to return to peace. A Bosnian woman, an ardent devotee of Baba, felt it her duty to do some service to the unfortunate refugees. She carried baskets of bread and packets of biscuits in her van over a long distance and distributed them in the camps. While eating, in her she also gave them a packet of vibhuti and a photograph of Swami. While eating, they were looking at Swami's photograph and talking amongst themselves in their own language. She could not follow what they talked to each other. She was inquisitive to know what they said by looking at Swami's image. She therefore sought help from the driver in her van. He went to them and returned after a while. He told her that they were saying to each other, "The man in the picture has been giving us bread and biscuits every day, but today apparently he gave them to her and asked her to distribute them." She was very much surprised to hear these words. In a meeting held during the summer training classes in Vrindavan, the Bosnian women were permitted by Swami to speak. She narrated the above incident and said, "If we take one step forward for doing good, Swami will be there 100 ahead of us all the time." Hanuman and Vibhishan in discourse. Vanaras of Ramayana were born as monkeys. Nevertheless, they served God as very humble servants and gained relief from the cycle of birth and death, having been blessed with the good fortune of seeing God in their midst. Human beings are by no means inferior to Vanaras. Why then they do not devote their lives to worship of God and meditation? It is not enough to just remember God, Smaran. One should enter heart and soul into divine activity. Hanuman and Vibhishan became good friends. One day Vibhishan approached Hanuman in great distress and said, "Hanuman, how fortunate you are! Every day you do smaran of Lord Hanuman and have fully earned Lord Ram's grace. No doubt I too have been doing smaran of Sri Ram for a long time, but I am not blessed with the opportunity of seeing God or Sri Ram." Hanuman explained his position. "You are no doubt doing smaran of Sri Ram, but did you ever participate in Sri Rama's services? How can you even attain Sri Ram's grace without doing that? It is now full 10 months since Devi Sita has been in Lanka. Did you ever console her and try to alleviate her suffering? Did you meet her and have her darshan even once? Did you ever think of some way to relieve her agony? If you had done any of these, it would have amounted to service of Lord Rama. You have failed to avail of the fine opportunity that has come your way. As for me, I have dedicated my life to Sri Rama, chanting Sri Ram's name with my mouth and doing Lord Ram's work with my hand." While describing the above discourse between the two devotees of Lord Rama, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai concluded, "Our conduct should always be Rama in heart, Kam in hand. Dil mein Ram, haath mein Kam." Life dedicated to these two principles is truly fulfilled, Sarthak. Bhagwan Baba once said, "You are not doing service for others, you are doing it for yourself, to the God in you, to the God who is equally present in others." Service leads to heaven. Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba attaches immense value to willing and selfless service. He declared, "It is the most supreme of all sadhana." Many distressed persons flock to Prashanti Nilayam, having lost their peace of mind due to various problems. Among them are some who are bodily and mentally ill. My job is to treat everyone. While the doctor finishes the principal treatment, nurses, compounders, and attendants take over and do the rest of the job. I am providing you opportunities for service. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena kina amrutatva manusha. Neither spiritual deeds as ordained by scriptures, nor begetting worthy offsprings, nor earning wealth will confer relief from the cycle of birth and death. Sacrifice alone can bring immortality. This is the true proclaimed by the Vedas. Mental readiness to do sacrifice, Tyaga Buddhi, coupled with absolute selflessness, should mark one's service. This is the only way to reach Paramapada, God's abode. Seva or service occupies the most exalted position among all kinds of sadhana. God Himself has incarnated in human form to serve mankind through resuscitation of dharma, and He is undertaking several programs of service. If man too comes forward to dedicate himself to selfless service, there can be no doubt that God's grace will be assured. It is not necessary that service should be confined only to the presence of Prashanti Nilayam. Serve the suffering, the poor, and the needy wherever you find them, in your village or the place where you go on pilgrimage, or anywhere at any point of time. Normally, water by itself costs nothing, but combined with milk, the same water gains its value. In the same manner, if you add a bit of your service to any of the holy activities of Swami, your contribution acquires weight and significance. Once Lord Sri Krishna asked his poet saint devotee Surdas, what could he desire to have? And he quickly added, leave it. Will you agree to be my servitor? Surdas humbly replied, Krishna, if I become your servant, it may generate ego in me. What service can I do? There are innumerable persons who possess the necessary devotion, ability, competence, and also facilities for doing service to you. However, any number of your lowly servitors are there who themselves need succor and help. Bless me with the good fortune of serving such unfortunate persons. If you would like to please me and satisfy me, you need only to see me in every living being. Serve all living beings as you would serve me and worship me. That alone is the most appropriate procedure of worship. That alone is the holy path that brings you to me. Maintain spirituality throughout life. Speaking to students in Kodai Canal, Bhagwan once narrated a beautiful parable which was as amusing as it was profound. Once all vegetables in the world entered into a dispute about which of them was the greatest. Unable to come to an agreement, they prayed to Lord Brahma, Lord Mahavishnu, and Lord Maheshwara to intercede and decide. Responding to their prayers, the three gods came down to earth. They heard every vegetable with all the sympathy, patience, and understanding that the sensitive issue deserved. Finally, they decided that a particular vegetable was the greatest. What is that? The humble onion. All other vegetables were astounded. Each of them possessed admirable qualities. How could these gods decide that onion was the greatest? Sensing their grievance, the gods spoke up. They said, there is no doubt that all of you possess commendable qualities, but onion has one additional and special trait which none of you can boast out. That is, to retain the same smell unchanged throughout life. That is why we have decided in its favor. Be like the onion, whatever happy or sadness, comfort or suffering. Never abandon your trait of being devoted to God. This explanation satisfied all the aggrieved vegetables. Softly stroking his beard, Lord Brahma wished the winner, as long as I exist, may you possess a beard like me. If you look closely at an onion, you will find a thin beard adorning it. Lord Vishnu blessed the onion. Cut vertically, you will display one of my insignia, the Shankha or the conch shell. Cut horizontally, you will reveal another of my insignia, the Chakra or the disc. Cut an onion and you will notice this. Lord Shiva blessed it. I will give you a guarantee. Anyone trying to harm you is condemned to shed tears. This too is well within the experience of everybody. This simple, humble tale of the vegetable conveys a profound truth. A person who possesses staunch, unwavering devotion to God is supreme. He will be righteous. He will be blessed with God's grace. Nobody can cause harm to him. Om Shri Sai Satya Parabrahmane Namaha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.